Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Rasmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Param. Om. Okay, so back to Drsya. Now we have the Honorable Claudio back with us. So I will have to ask him first if he has any questions.
No, because now I have to still see the last recording because I really don't have time to see it. So now I begin with September. I begin again. Okay.
Okay. Welcome back. We begin from where we stopped last time, which was we are covering let's go back to page 49. We are covering the recap that Swami Paramarthananda often does when he gets into a new class. Okay, it's still on the verse 24. We were looking at, by the way, we are dealing with meditation, Claudio. So the different kinds of Vedantic meditations, basically, it boils down to two. One is meditation associated with objects. So we know this meditation. We just we see the hand, and then we don't miss out on the light revealing the hand. Okay, so we see the hand. We see a room with several objects and people in there. And then after that, we turn to space. We see the hand, and then we turn to the light revealing the hand. So once we turn to the light, which is a symbol of consciousness, and then the last stage is from consciousness to I am consciousness, which is the claiming aspect of this process. So these meditations, they are very simple but very elegantly put, because we all know that by watching the world and the manifest and changing, like Osho used to suggest us, so just keep being the watcher on the hill, he used to say. I don't know if you guys read Osho, and he was into say, be the watcher on the hill, watch everything. But he never said why we are watching, but it was feeling good to watch, because you watch, and he was not much for the concentration, focusing kind of meditation. It was more like to be the present watcher, the witnessing. So, but you keep watching, and then what happens? So the objects and the thoughts and the inner, let's say, objects, they start slowing down. They come less and less. The mind, it calms down. It's no longer on high speed, and then you start experience those space, those silent space in between thoughts, emotion, feelings, or anything that comes up, and that feels good. So I remember my day. So the challenge was not to fall asleep during the watcher meditation. If I could remain awake, sattvic, and if the mind would come from Raja, and then turn into sattva, and then it used to feel very good. But we are left at that point. We are watching is good. Okay, I remember that there was even some people that developed some tapes on those days of kind of meditation, but it was more like to create a trance, to create a kind of hypnosis or something. And there was the voice of this woman that would keep saying, watching is good. Watching is good. So Osho left us at that, okay? So here we have Vedanta saying that you have two options. Either you watch phenomenon, the inner or the outer world. You know, the outer world is there, the inner world are the impression, the memories we hold of the outer world. It's the same thing. So either we watch those things, you know, we are watching it, but we are not watching for the sake of watching, or for the sake of experiencing the silence between these phenomenal objects. We are watching it so that we can see that those are namarupas, and the only reality here is the consciousness illumining and revealing those phenomenal objects. So that's the goal of Vedanta. So you go watch phenomena, and then you say, yes, I can only watch it because of the light that illumines and reveals these phenomena. So you jump from the world, you jump from the hand to the light that illumines and reveals the hand. So you go from the phenomenal objects, the inner objects, when we sit in meditation, thought, feelings, emotions, and sensations and memories. So you jump from those things to the consciousness illumining and revealing. And then the third stage is just to say, by the way, you know, I'm now watching objects and I'm watching the light of consciousness, and I forgot that, I need to define myself here, redefine, you know, and then I claim myself to be consciousness. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I am this consciousness, and the light of the illuminator that never changes, which is free and independent from any and whatsoever phenomenal object it reveals. Now, just imagine. So to be free and independent from any phenomenon as consciousness, of course, any phenomenon that I consciousness reveal. This is moksha, this is freedom. There is nothing more than that. So this is one time. But then Vedanta is very sophisticated. It says, okay, so now there is another kind of meditation. Rather than keeping watching your mind, your feelings and emotions, or to see the manifest physical material universe, and then jump from the namarupas to consciousness, rather than doing that, you just meditate on the words. So, and the words, of course, are the Upanishadic words. So it's the most direct kind of I would say, meditation, because you are meditating on the final declarations of the Upanishads, those few words that declare Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvam, the true nature of the individual as Satchitananda. So you're going to be meditating on words that have the potential to reveal your true nature as Satchitananda. So how are you going to do that? You're going to meditate not basically on the words, mantrically, let's say, but you meditate on the teachings. You're meditating on those pointers, on those features, those natures of consciousness as revealed through the Upanishads, okay? So it's a very fine contemplation, reflection on the teachings, which is still duality, because there is the meditator, the contemplator, and the words of the scriptures. So there is duality, but this is pointing direct to one's true nature, because we are watching and we are relating to the words that says that I am that this limitless, free and independent consciousness. So that's the deal here. Two kinds of meditations. I don't know very much about the Nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa to me is the culmination of getting into staying well established in consciousness as consciousness in spite of the presence of the world. So we could say that there is such a thing as a nirvikalpa, okay? So in spite of the world, I don't know exactly what is the meaning of the third aspect here, which is the nirvikalpa, but let's see. The type of nididhyasana that is being described in the verse 24 is abhyasa rupa nididhyasana. There are 6 types of meditation described, and we have seen it in the previous class, Claudio. Having enumerated them, the author is explained the antara, Drsya, Anuvida Savikalpa meditation. So I'm replacing the samadhi for meditation. So samadhi is a mental state, a meditative mental state, okay, human conscious state. It's nothing but attention upon consciousness as the witness of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and whatsoever. It's pain, because this meditation has two aspects. One is external and internal. Here we are dealing with, that's why they become six, okay? So internal and external as well. So here we are looking into the internal meditation in which I'm witnessing thoughts, feelings, emotions, and memories. It's paying attention to the consciousness principle as the illuminator or the witness consciousness of thoughts as they arise in the mind. An example we have seen before, it was about, what is the example here? The room, the light. So we have a room, we have a theater, Claude, and then we have a big light. So the light is on, and then everything that's on the stage is being pervaded, it's being permeated by this light and revealed by this light, okay? So the light is there illuminating everything, all objects. So we watch for the objects, and then we remember the teaching and say, oh, there is another factor operating there. The objects and the people on the stage, but also the light, revealing all of that. So when someone enters the room, the objects are notes. When someone enters the theater, let's say, so we note the objects, and as always, we miss out, we discount the consciousness, the light in that case, the physical light. Although we experience light all the time, that's the point here, okay? Although we go to the theater, we experience light all the time, and we miss out, we discount it, we do not pay attention. Yeah? So it says a lot about our human condition in general. Okay, we experience consciousness, but somehow we discount consciousness as if I need to look for it. Okay, so no, consciousness is always ever experienced at every single moment. And then, of course, a later stage is to claim yourself. And by the way, I am this consciousness, this light of consciousness. And then it's not enough. And then you need to understand what it means to be consciousness, which is another important point. You understand? So the repercussion, it's such that it should transform one's way of one's life, the way one relates to this instrument of action and experience in the world, the experienced world. So the individual should benefit. And for that, one needs to really understand what it means to be the light of consciousness. So the light of consciousness is existence, and it's consciousness, and that much we know when we realize I am consciousness. But then the 1/3 left out is like, I need to really understand my nature as limitlessness, because as consciousness, I have no borders, okay? I am one without a second. I am non-dual. So as consciousness, I am Ananda, and that's what's going to free the individual from seeking, chasing objects of desires and aversions. I am already fully satisfied because I am limitless, and all searching and seeking is a futile attempt to resolve or to neutralize this sense of incompletion, this sense of limitation. Okay, so once I understand that I am consciousness, good enough, fair enough, and then I need to understand what it means. It means that I need nothing, and it means that nothing can really affect what I am. Is it correct, Lynn?
Yes, very much so. You've been preaching to the choir.
What is the meaning, I mean, of this expression? I heard it before. We have been preaching to?
Preaching to the choir means that the audience is very receptive.
I see. Good. I don't need to convince anybody, huh, Claudio? Okay. So nobody experienced lack of light. The exercise is to focus attention to the light and so on. So we have covered that. Light is an independent entity that pervades and illumines all objects. Light is not limited by the boundaries of the objects. Light continues beyond all objects, permeating everything, reflecting on everything. So it's independent. It's not limited by the boundaries of the object. It is free of attributes and properties which belong to every one of these objects. So the PPP of the Vedanta that says that consciousness is not part, property, or byproduct of any object it illumines. Okay, you guys remember that, huh? So it's independent, it pervades, it's not a property, it's independent entity, it's not limited by the borders, it continues to exist after the object is removed. Everything was removed from the stage, and I decided to sit there until the last moment before people come and grab me and take me out of the theater. I am there. And now I'm going to see what's going to happen, because everything was removed, and I heard that there was light in here. But I had to believe that light can be seen only if it pervades or permeates or reflects on an object. Now that everything was removed, there is only space, let's say, and then I want to see what is the light. So this is the final test. Remove the objects cognitively, you understand, and then see if the light is going to disappear. If the light disappears, it means it's a byproduct of the object, but we know that it is not. Now we are talking now about physical light as a beautiful analogy. Light continues to exist even after the objects are removed. The existing light is not accessible because of the absence of the reflecting medium. This is light samadhi, a meditation light. So now in the end, it says the existing light is not accessible because of the absence of object it reflects upon. But in the example that I was doing of a room or a stage on a theater, so it's still, we have the curtains, we have, we have the walls, and the light is going to be proving itself there as the illuminator of the walls and the curtains, okay? So in the absence of all objects, light is not reflecting, revealing, permeating anything, but yet it's self-luminous. You understand? It's self-luminous. It is one of the features of consciousness. Okay, in the absence of the body-mind complex of all jivas, it's not seen consciousness. But we know better than that. We know that it's seen as the objects, even the inert objects are seen. Even the entire Jagat is seen as existence consciousness. So the light is not really available in the same way electricity is not really available if the lights are off, okay? That would be like if when everything is empty, light is still shining, and then somebody goes there and says, I'm going to turn off the switch because this guy is not gonna go otherwise. And then they go there and they turn off the switch. And then what happens? There is no light, okay? The light is off. So in the absence of electricity, running through and the switch kept on, so light is not going to be verifiable. So the same thing is the reflect consciousness is verifiable in every living creature. But when the body dies, it's not verifiable. But consciousness does not go anywhere because, as we know, it is all pervasive, okay? It's going to be pervading the dead body, and the body is dead, but consciousness is there, just collecting the elements back to its source, okay? Bringing it all back, decomposing the body, turning it into whatsoever, okay? Into fumes or energy or just composed and whatever, you know, but it goes back to its basic source of element. So this is the meditation we are talking about. The same practice applied internally, as we know. So we covered that. So we observe the thoughts and so on. We know that these thoughts are insentient by themselves, and they are known because of something which is pure sentience, okay? The witnessing conscience principle that can see, illumine, and reveal those thoughts. The first stage in this samadhi is paying attention for consciousness. Then from consciousness, we have to discriminate consciousness from the objects, the thoughts, feelings, emotions, so on. And then we have to also differentiate or discriminate consciousness from what? From the empty space, from the silence, from the absence of thought, feelings, and emotions, because it's much often we identify with the absence of thought, feelings, and emotions, and we say this is silence, this is no mind, there are no thoughts, and then this is the ultimate reality. No, the ultimate reality is never something that can be objectified. The ultimate reality is you, it's consciousness that now is revealing emptiness or absence of thoughts, or no mind, no feelings, no emotions. We have to turn the attention again and again back to this I am consciousness, even illumining and revealing the blankness of the mind, okay? So we don't fall for the blankness of the mind as the ultimate reality. We keep the ultimate reality as it is in the I am, this conscious light. So going back to this meditation on thoughts, thoughts have forms such as pot thoughts or dog thoughts and so on. The consciousness is formless. Thoughts are divisible, and consciousness is one and indivisible. And most importantly, the nature of the thoughts, the impurities of the thought do not belong to consciousness. So consciousness change. Thoughts can be good thoughts, bad thoughts. And as we know, consciousness is beyond bad and good. It's beyond all parts of opposites, and it's absolutely equanimous in the sense that it reveals whatsoever, it illumines anything and everything. Consciousness is without attributes. Thus, I want to focus on this consciousness, and I want to understand its nature. There is only one point of difference. Light happens to be, okay, and then Swamiji says that there is a slight but yet very important difference. When we meditate on the light, the analogy of the light, we are talking about light as the principle illumining and revealing, permeating everything and revealing everything. So, but we have to remember the analogies always fall short. Analogies always fall short. So light happens to be, again, an inert object, okay? Light is not a sentient principle. It's not a witnessing principle. Light, physical light, is another object, okay? Whereas consciousness is not an object. You can never objectify consciousness, okay? Did you get that, Claudio? This illumining consciousness should not be objectified, because that consciousness is I, myself, I am. Then the meditation should be in the form of I am illumining and revealing everything, every thought, feelings, and emotions. Even after every thought goes, I continue during the absence of thoughts, because that blank mind is known to me. That blank mind is an inert object witnessed by me, the only source of sentience. First focus on thought, then come to consciousness, then I am this consciousness. This is very simple elegant, yet a lot of fun to play with, for those of us who really have some time and believe in the power of these Vedantic meditations. It's the ultimate meditation. So if you want to meditate on something, you better meditate on consciousness, okay? Either as the illuminator, okay, or as revealed by the meditations guided by words, revealing the features of consciousness. We're going to be seeing it soon. When I meditate, only when a meditation becomes I meditation, reach a completion. Only when the meditation becomes I meditation. So you meditate on what? Okay, I meditate on my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and I meditate on silence. And no, I'm gone with all this meditation. I'm done with it. I'm a very highly advanced meditator. I meditate on consciousness, but it reaches its completion when I meditate on I consciousness. You understand? So I'm not trying to see consciousness as something other than myself, but I meditate on I consciousness. You see the subtlety and the huge shift, in this pointer. I meditate on I consciousness. I am. This is Nididhyasana that completes the samadhi. The phrase Shida Nanda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham in the Nirvanasatam Upanishad or verse is an excellent Sakshi meditation phrase. From I, the consciousness in my mind, I should go to I, the consciousness in all minds. So this is another pointer to play with. Consciousness is one single, non-dual principle, and it is shining and reflecting in all the minds and the intellects of all living creatures. So I don't say I meditate on my consciousness, but I meditate on consciousness, a consciousness shining in all living creatures. Then the meditation should progress in the form of I am not in all minds, but all minds. This is a paraphrasing, explaining this meditation suggested by Nirvana Satkam verse by someone here that I don't even know. Anyhow, so then the meditation should progress in the form of I am not in all minds, but all minds are resting in me. So I am consciousness. The consciousness that I meditate is not I consciousness or a mind, my consciousness, but the consciousness reflecting in all minds. And then I have to say that the minds, I'm not in the minds, because this is a common misunderstanding. People believe that consciousness is somehow located there in the body-mind construct because it reflects on the subtle body. It will say, I am the consciousness in all minds, reflect in all minds, but all minds, all subtle bodies are not out there. This is all happening within consciousness. As a matter of fact, to the right understanding is that consciousness is all pervasive. And then whenever there is a construct, which is the so-called subtle bodies of all living creatures, including the plants and trees, any subtle body is going to occur in consciousness because consciousness is pervading everything. And then those subtle bodies are going to shine with liveness, with ability to somehow respond to its environment. This response can be fully consciously or partially consciously or even totally unconscious, okay? But it's what it is. So the all minds I mean, I'm not in the mind. I have realized that I am consciousness, and a consciousness, I am this consciousness, but but this consciousness is not limited by my body-mind construct. So this consciousness is the same as the consciousness of Lin. So, but I have to be careful not to believe that consciousness depends on these body-mind constructs to shine. You understand? Consciousness is all the time present in the absence of reflecting mediums, or in the presence or in the absence of reflecting mediums. So all these reflecting mediums are resting in me. Like consciousness, now we shift to the space analogy. Space accommodates everything. Everything rests in the space. From the light example, I come to the space example in this pointer here. I look at all Vedanta teachings, and in the place of Brahman, Atma, Sakshi, Satchitananda, consciousness, existence, I use the word I. All and everything rests in me. This is the main feature of Nididhyasana, and only then Ahamkara will become weaker. He did not say that it's going to dry and that, but it's going to calm down at least. The ego, the ignorance, the identification with phenomenon. There are many objects present in the mind. Did we cover this last week? We did it, and you did not stop me, Lin.
Why would I do that? It's great to revisit it.
Okay, then it's all.
Claudio hadn't heard it.
Yes, so this is for Claudio. I was going to say that. There are many objects present in the mind in the form of thoughts, vrittis, desires. There are very uncomfortable thoughts that produce very uncomfortable emotions and feelings, like desire, anger, greed, jealous. A list of thoughts as examples were mentioned in the verse 4 of this text. In the very same mind, there is present the consciousness principle as the illuminator of all these vrittis. Okay. Vedanta is drawing my attention to that already evident consciousness. I should focus on that Sakshi Chaitanya. Focusing upon the Sakshi, the consciousness, is nothing but entertaining thoughts regarding consciousness. Okay, this is good. Focusing upon consciousness, seen by the Vedantic Nididhyasana, okay, is different from focusing on the reflection of consciousness in the subtle body. So when we focus on the consciousness reflecting the conscious in the subtle body, we are entering the field of experiential meditation, because we're gonna experience peace and joy and satisfaction, because the mind is reflecting, and usually it becomes more appealing and noticeable when the mind is more sattvic. So, but here now it says that focusing on consciousness here is equivalent to entertaining thoughts regarding consciousness. So you're going to be entertaining thoughts regarding the features of consciousness, the nature of consciousness. You are entertaining thoughts which are just the final declarations or pointers, or Mahavakyas, the final teachings, the so-called Upanishadic teachings. So you're entertaining those thoughts rather than entertaining negative, mundane, and samsari thoughts that they are source of suffering. The mind functions only through entertaining thoughts. That's very nice. The mind can never function without thoughts. So we need to use thoughts, and through thoughts, we're going to have an experience, and then we can elaborate on those thoughts. So since we cannot function without entertaining thoughts, so we want to choose which thoughts we're going to engage. which thoughts we're going to entertain. So this is the whole key of life. If we entertain small thoughts, we're going to feel small, of course. If we entertain positive, limitless thoughts, regarding the nature of consciousness as limitless, so we're going to feel limitless, of course, rather than limit, small, and incomplete. Entertaining thoughts such as consciousness is in the mind, and the consciousness is the illuminator, is the meditation of focusing on the consciousness. This meditation in which I entertain thoughts regarding the nature of consciousness is called Antara, Drsya, Anuvida, Savikalpa Samadhi. Okay. So now we're going to start the class. So it's gonna take the class in 1 hour. It's going to go until I don't know the time there. Verse 25. I am unattached, existence, consciousness, bliss, and I'm self-shining. I'm free from duality. This is the practice of meditation with duality associated with the words. And the words here are the nature or the features of my nature as consciousness. Consciousness, I am unattached. So what it means, non-attached. So I illumine everything, but I don't stick to anything and nothing sticks to me. Exactly like the physical light. It's going to permeates everything. It's going to illumine, reveal, but light does not grab and get stuck with something. Oh, no, I don't want to illumine this object here because I did not like it. No. So the light is not going to attach to anything. Consciousness does not attach to anything. And even if there is an object, such as a great yogi, that wants to get attached to consciousness in a dualistic manner, consciousness is not going to allow, not even a great yogi, to be attached 24/7, because there will be some breaks until the yogi understands that consciousness is not an object of experience. So I am unattached. Nothing attached me, and I do not attach anything. I am the existence of everything. I am the consciousness that brings about the universe, and my nature is limitless bliss. And I shine on my own. I don't need anything else, such as the jivas. So all the living creatures, they don't shine as conscious living creatures on their own. They depend on conscious existence. The conscious existence of consciousness of Brahman is somehow conceded. Okay, it's passed on. It is how you say it. Sometimes I like to use the word. It is transferred somehow. It's not really a transfer because it's all the time there. You don't need to go from here and there to, okay, let's take consciousness from here to there. It's difficult to find a word that can explain that. But conscious in existence is going to allow, because I don't like much this deal of landing and boring, but or landing or borrowing. But I mean, all kind of words are going to fail to describe this interaction, which is not really an association, interaction between consciousness and the phenomenal world. But I am unattached, and I am existence consciousness. I shine on my own, and I bless the world with my Satchitananda, and I am free from duality. So how about that? I'm blessing the world which is Mitya, with my existence consciousness of limitless nature, and but I'm free from duality. What? So you talk about duality here, Mr. Brahman. You're talking you and the world, and they say, no, I bless them with my existence consciousness bliss, but I am free, independent of the world. I shine on my own. And to me, from my standpoint, there is no duality. There is no duality, Brahman, Maya. There is no duality, Brahman and Jagata. You understand? No, this all belongs to Mithya. In Mithya, we find duality, but not in Brahman. I'm free from duality. So this is the kind of practice of meditation we do in Vedanta with association with object. Excuse me, I just forgot to close the WhatsApp. Okay. Let's see what Swami is going to make out of this. He says that we are entering the second form of meditation, which is the one associated with the words, the scriptural words, as I said. In the first one, as we remember, we are focusing on the thoughts, feelings, emotions, the subtle world of objects. I used to make use of the objects just to shift from the object to the light or to the consciousness, exposing the object. The thought is the reflecting medium of consciousness. So this is a nice thing. Okay, let me highlight it here. The thought. So we don't see consciousness unless it reflects on something. And as we know, there is no difference between objects and the thoughts relate to the object. To begin with, the text here is saying that we cannot experience any object without a thought. We require thought to be an experience. Okay, and here it says that the thought is the reflecting medium for consciousness. So consciousness is going to reflect on a thought, and the thought is a representation of a certain physical object now left in the mind as an impression or memory in regards to a certain object. So any emotion, any feeling, any thought is going to be unique, in its configuration, and that is a reflector for consciousness, because and then consciousness appears as the illuminator in the absence of thoughts slash objects. Consciousness is self-shining. Okay, in the absence of objects altogether, such as in the case of nirvikalpa samadhi, consciousness is still there, or in the case of deep sleep. But consciousness does not have any reflecting medium. There are no thoughts, there are no objects, not even in the dream state. During the mind is empty, is blank, there are no thoughts, there are no objects, but consciousness, as we know, it is still there. But it's not reflecting on any phenomenal object. That's the point. We need to have a phenomenal object for consciousness to appear as the illuminator. And the thought is the reflecting medium, is the phenomenal object that's going to shine and receive the blessing of consciousness and become known. Repeated practice of bringing my attention away from the thoughts, which are just reflecting mediums, to the consciousness, illumining these thoughts, will make my mind capable to remain with the conscious principle without being distracted by the thoughts. So it takes practice, yes. This practice can be speeded up, or this establishment, this certainty of knowledge, of self-knowledge, can be speeded up by these meditation practice, because I'm doing that deliberately and I'm avoiding the thoughts and I bring that to the consciousness until I'm strong enough to remember and to remain in consciousness as consciousness, even though thoughts and feelings and emotions and the physical material world is there, but there is an undercurrent of knowledge, understanding that is properly established in the intellect. I am consciousness, I am satya, and all of this is mithya. These meditations are powerful. I haven't done this meditation, but I can see the power behind these meditations. How about selling that to your students, Claudio? You think it's too subtle? Maybe, huh?
Maybe, yeah, but it's good to try.
Okay, having established the mind in consciousness, the various aspects of consciousness should be dwelled upon. The final feature being that consciousness is what I am. What are the features that I should dwell upon? So from the Upanishads, I can draw any number of features, any number of different pointers or declarations that presents those aspects or features of consciousness. We know consciousness is free of attributes. Those are not property or attributes. They are just the nature or the features or the aspects, we could say, of consciousness, which are not qualities and attributes. It's just the nature of consciousness seen from different angles. Generally, we use one of the Upanishads suggestions, or pointers. We use the pointers, the features present in the Gita as well, Bhagavad Gita, and Prakarana Grantha, to dwell upon every one of my meditations. Okay, I can use different words. So remember, we're gonna remember the nature, the features of consciousness, such as I am unattached. Okay, I pervade everything in the world. I pervade everything, and I'm beyond duality. So all these features, we can hold on to them, and we focus our mind on those features of consciousness all the time, holding on to the knowledge that I am this consciousness, by the way. Okay, not to fall into duality, and we keep doing that. What is it going to do? It's going to make this knowledge solid, firm, okay, because I'm really soaking on the knowledge. I'm using my mind to soak it into this Vedantic knowledge, which based on the features of what I am as consciousness. Thoughts are used in the first samadhi to arrive to consciousness. And in this samadhi, the features of consciousness are to be focused upon. So we focus now on the words, the features that describe the nature of consciousness. It's like meditating upon the light without the help of the hand. Very nice. Now we are not depending on any object such as thought, feelings, and emotions to reflect consciousness as the illuminant and the illuminator. So now we remove the object and we're gonna focus direct in consciousness. But now the objects are not there. Remember that the thoughts, objects, they are just reflecting mediums for consciousness because they are going to be shining or illumined or known by consciousness. Now you are just moving to a more direct meditation, okay? You just you focus on the features of consciousness, okay? In this samadhi, the features of consciousness are what to be focused upon. So I am consciousness, and I am of the nature, and we can play with many of these different features or aspects or natures of consciousness. The first very powerful word, asanga, unattached, in this verse. So I am asanga. I do not associate. I do not relate. I do not attach anything. Asanga, non-association, no relationship. So the first powerful word is asanga, used in this verse, is taken from this Vayan, Jyoti, Brahmanam, of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That word means that I do not have any association with anything in the creation. I don't have any relationship. Okay, I reveal everything, but I am free and independent. There is no attachment, there is no relationship, there is no association with anything in the creation. The notions of I and mine are delusions that cause sorrow, as we know. So the moment that I say, I am consciousness and you are mine, and then this I am consciousness was not properly understood, and then this association, relationship in terms of possession, is going to create a lot of suffering. So the moment the notion I and mine are delusions that cause sorrow, we are always disturbed by one relationship or other. Oh, this is very nice. We know that relationships are always going to be a source of disturbance. Papaji used to say, wherever there are two, you remember, wherever there are two, there is disagreement. So relationships is going to be a source of trouble, okay? Because there are two. If there are two, there are two minds, and then two minds have different ideas and notions. So wherever there will be disturbance. Therefore, we should renounce these associations mentally. It's not that we have to leave our family, our jobs, our boyfriend, girlfriend, you understand? We renounce those attachments, we renounce those associations, we renounce those relationships. The yani is a bit strange in that sense, because the person will feel that, I can't really get hooked, I may get hooked, but if the other is not hooked on me, there is no hook there really. So, and the person may feel a little bit like, oh, so I love you means to say, I need you. And then I say, oh, do you need me? And the young said, no, not a chance, and the, oh, then you don't love me. I mean, needing the other emotionally, psychologically, okay? We may need the other on a practical level here and there, but I meant to say psychologically, emotionally. And then Swamiji goes on saying, this consciousness, I am pure existence that is all-pervading. And the very Ananda that comes in your mind, is me being reflected on your subtle body, okay? So I am all-pervading pure consciousness, and the very Ananda that comes in your mind in the reflected form. So I am that consciousness, and you are enjoying this Ananda, this existence, that is this love to be, even if the mind is not fully sattvic, there is consciousness shining, and there is a love to exist, a love to be present there. My reflection in the mind alone is all the pleasures there is in the world. So all the pleasures are nothing but me, I, consciousness, reflecting, in the minds. This has to be repeatedly asserted in the meditation, because running after Nanda outside is one form of samsara. Very nice. So we need to understand where is the source of Ananda, where is the source of peace, bliss, satisfaction. It needs to be really, really firmly understood, clearly understood. Otherwise, we keep feeding ignorance. We feed knowledge, but then we feed ignorance. One of the obstacles is the inability. I think we have seen this recent inability to take in these teachings, this knowledge, and fully accept it, that I am the only source of security and joy and happiness and so on. So because I don't really accept it, so I run in what? I run into gaining this Ananda from the world. And then I have a double problem there. One obstacle is lack of understanding or shraddha. And the other is the fact that I'm feeding ignorance, because I'm running back to samsara in search for this Ananda. This has to be repeatedly said in the meditation, because running after Nanda outside is what we call samsara. And it could be a very beautiful, nicely decorated spiritual samsara, with beautiful smiles and flowers and incense and, and crystals, but still I'm running for Nanda on something or someone. I, the Ananda, am not an experiential pleasure, because I, the Ananda, am permanently present. So I, the Ananda, I am not the experiential pleasure, because I, the Ananda, I am permanently present. So it almost seems that the joy is experienced when there is on and off. The joy is experienced when you experience the lack of this peace, the lack of this satisfaction. And then we appreciate the satisfaction. And it says, I'm not experiential pleasure, because I'm all the time present. I'm all the time there, and I'm beyond duality. There is no pleasure and pain. So therefore, you cannot really frame me in either one of those extremes. I'm just beyond pleasure and pain. So I am all the time present. I am the only source of this Ananda. The experiential pleasures are impermanent and are reflections of the I, Ananda. So as we know, all experiential pleasures, being dependent on a certain mental condition, they are subject to beginning, middle, and end, and graduation. It keeps changing, fluctuating. Priya moda and pramoda. So these experiential pleasures are impermanent. They are reflections of my Ananda, the I, my nature is fullness, completion, limitlessness. I am the non-experienceable, permanent Ananda, pleasure, and my reflection in the mind is only a temporary pleasure. So I want that. How about you, Claudia? But then, on the other hand, the scripture comes and says, but, I'm not an object of experience, and I'm not an experiencing entity. So how are we going to get that? No, I'm non-experienceable. I am permanent Ananda, but I'm non-experienceable. And we know that Brahman is not an experiencing entity. So I want something that is not an experienced entity and cannot be experienced as bliss, but it's bliss. But I cannot experience it. And if I am Brahman, I'm not going to experience, because I'm not an experienced entity. So what is there for us? It sounds a little bit like, oh my God, there's tons of contradictions there. Okay, let's see what Swamiji says, but I can guess where he goes with it. Consciousness is experienced in all the states of the mind without any effort, without any special state. No special state is needed for that experience. And so I am self-evident, another feature of consciousness, ever-present, self-evident, and it is there. And here Swamiji says consciousness is experienced in all the states, okay? So it is experienced or it is not experienced. It's not experienceable, this Ananda, but at the same time, this Ananda is experienced through all the states. It is experienced, but not as an object. It's as my true nature, as consciousness, because I am Satchitananda. So it is experienced, but we discount it the same way we discount the light illumining and revealing the hand. So I am experienceable. I am not experienced, but I am experienced through all the states, in every moment. All the states covers everything. So it's not only 24/7. It's not like for the entire year, but it's for all the three states, which is another way to measure time, going from one state to another state and back to the other state. Consciousness is experiencing all states without any effort. I am self-evident. I am without a second thing. I am non-dual. I am the consciousness of the mind and the thoughts of witnessed objects. Sakshyam. The very fact that I claim that I am the consciousness presupposes the presence of Sakyasam. Thus, there are two entities, and so a doubt may arise in the mind of the inquirer that I am non-dual. Again, I have raised this question. So it seems that I am a dual. I am in duality. A doubt may arise in the mind of the inquirer. As to know it, can be said that I am non-dual. So this non-dual nature can be assimilated only when it's known that Drsya is experienced and it is mithya. The meditator should have surely assimilated the teachings of mithya nature of the experience world. So this is there is a lot of, to paraphrase Ramji, a lot of meat in here, and I want to read this passage, and then we can explore it next week. But I'm going back to what was being unfolded in here. The Ananda, I am not experiential pleasure, because the Ananda is myself, my nature. All experience impermanent. I am the real deal. I am the permanent Ananda, but I cannot be experienced, and I'm not an experiencing entity. So I want this permanent Ananda. And how am I going to get this Ananda if the experiential Ananda is subject to beginning, middle, and end, because it is a state, mental state. So how am I going to get this full-time Ananda? Someone has a clue how we can get that?
I don't think the jiva can get that. I don't think there's any such thing for the meditator. Maybe for the yoni, not for the meditator.
You're going to say something, Mark?
I was going to say, only through the hard and fast knowledge that is my very nature, and nothing in Mithya can touch me or affect me. And until that stage, then, like Lynn was saying, the jiva won't have that full-time experience.
Yeah, we'll talk about two things. One is that my nature is Ananda, okay? And because my nature is limitlessness, but it's different from the experience of satisfaction, joy, and bliss that I experience when my mind is sattvic. We have to understand that the sattvic mind is a reflecting, the mind is a reflecting medium, and the sattvic reflecting medium, it reflects things, as faithful as possible to what it is. When we have a very good English mirror, and then it's going to really precisely reflect whatsoever is before the mirror. But if you go there and you buy an Indian mirror for 45 rupees, in Tiruvannamalai, when you reflect things, things are distorted. They are, they are modified. Okay, so a sattvic mind is a reflecting medium that's going to reflect something that is coming from the very source of beingness. So, and then we are going to have the experience of what? Of love, peace, satisfaction. It's delicious to experience reflected consciousness in a reflecting, a purified mirror, purified, reflecting, likewise mirror. Okay, it's wonderful. But the text here is saying, but be aware that this experiential ananda is subject to change. Okay, it's not all the time present, and it keeps changing because it depends on a reflecting medium, which is mithya. Now we are talking about an interface between satya and mithya here. You understand? So now we have this. So how are we going to enjoy it 24/7? My true nature is only, as Mark said, as a 100% conviction that I am that limitless conscious existence. And then there is a loop in here. When I understand that and I claim that I am that Satchitananda, limitless consciousness, what happens to the way I conduct my life? I'm not going to be running and chasing and struggling to get things, to keep things, or to reject things. You understand? I relax. When I'm no longer being operated by this beginningless ignorance, because I got this knowledge in respect to my true nature as Ananda, my mind modifies because I'm not entertaining rajas and tamas. I'm not a go-getter anymore, I just want to be in peace. And then I have, as a bonus, let's say, a reflecting medium that is more sattvic. And that's what I often say is an intellectual mind properly resolved by the means of jnana, not by the means of controlling the mind and to develop sattva guna. You understand? So how I'm going to know this? How I'm going to enjoy that? Experientially, you cannot enjoy it full time, but cognitively, you can enjoy it 24/7 once this knowledge is hard and fast. And then as Mark said, I am this limitless source of Ananda, and nothing, therefore nothing can really affect me, nothing can really, break me. When circumstances are very unfavorable, very difficult, crises come and so on, I know that I'm free and independent. I understood all features of my true nature. So it's from that angle that we can enjoy this permanent feature of Ananda. Okay, and we fully enjoy it cognitively. Experientially, we enjoy it, as Priya, Moda, and Pramoda, because it keeps fluctuating and comes and goes. But generally speaking, the jnani experience more Ananda because the mind is no longer subject to the ignorance that compels the mind to join into the rat race, as we say, chasing things. Okie dokie, lovely satsang. And I thought Claudio would enjoy it as well because it's pretty much around meditation, a little bit more profound than what you usually teach. So we carry on next week, and please don't allow me to go and begin everything from the. Tell me where we stopped, please. Help me. Okie dokie. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purna Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, my dear friends. We meet again. Oh, by the way, next Monday, I'm full on with my Mandukya Karika. I forgot about that. Let me see. I'm full on with my Mandukya Karika seminar in São Paulo. Okay, so there will be no satsang on Monday. I forgot to work it out, to think about that. And then then Thursday, I'm flying back here. So can we do our Drsya next Friday? Can I announce next Friday or not?
I will be available if you want to do it.
Shall we do it? Okay. Then I'm going to announce next Friday our next satsang on Drsya. Okay. Namaste. Again, thank you. God bless all of us.